Welcome back, YouTube. I'm Melody from Bake-A-Leg and Let's Dig It Homestead. And today I'm finally going to make my cream cheese raspberry rolls. I've given the recipe out to Lauren N, and I thought I don't even have it on my own channel. They're phenomenal. They're light and airy. It's like a pillow or a cloud. These are delicious. The video might be a little bit longer, but it will be so worth watching the video, because you will definitely want to make this, whether it's for breakfast, you have Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas, or Christmas morning. I'm telling you, you're going to love them. So I have you pointed at the KitchenAid. The only thing I did was put 1 cup of milk inside my measuring cup with 1/4 cup of water. I warmed it up, no hotter than 110, 115. Then I did 1 tablespoon and 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast with a teaspoon of sugar. I put it off to the side. I have some yeast, and look at that bad boy, it's ready to go. So we are going to get started. It's not complicated. It may seem like it, but it's really not. You're gonna love them. Like I said, I will put the ingredients down below in the description box, but I will tell you the ingredients as I go along. So the only thing I did was the 1 tablespoon and 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast with 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 cup of milk and 1/4 cup of water. I did the milk, the water, I nuked it, 110, 115, don't go past that. If you make it too hot, you'll kill your yeast. If it's not hot enough, the yeast won't rise. You can also tell if your yeast is good because it will look all yummy and bubbly like so. And then I just did the 1 teaspoon of sugar, mixed it up, put it off to the side, and got my flour together, which is 4 cups of all-purpose flour. So that's ready to go. You're going to need a 1 8-ounce block of Philadelphia cream cheese. You're going to want to make sure all your ingredients are room temperature. And then I also melted, let's see if you can see in there, I also melted 4 tablespoons of butter. So we are ready to go. My egg is out. We're good. I measured the flour. We have the 4 cups. If you don't know how to measure flour, you just take a 1 cupper and you stick it to fluff your flour up always. And then you want to get it to the top, and then you just tap it and then smooth it off, and you'll get an even cup. Okay, one other thing before we get started. Machine's a little loud, don't forget that. And 2, it depends on the heat or the coldness in your house in order for the dough to rise. So have some patience as far as that's concerned. Okay, so we're going to get started here. And what we're going to do first is, I already did the milk, the water, and a glass measuring cup and popped it into the microwave to warm it up. I don't go past 115. And then I sprinkled over the yeast with a teaspoon of sugar, and I set it aside until the yeast blooms, and that's exactly where we're at, because I did try to start this video already until my dog started barking. We are going to add the flour, sugar, and salt yeast mixture, the eggs, the butter, and the vanilla to a bowl of a standing mixer. Fit it with a dough hook, and we're going to knead it. So let me slow that back a little bit here. So let's go. We are going to put our 4 cups of flour in the bowl. Measured, let's try to say that again. I measured it all out. Okay. And then we're going to need to do our sugar. We're going to put our sugar in right there. And then we need salt, I'm going to use my Himalayan salt. It's just 1 teaspoon of salt. I'll put that over on that side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this together first. Do I have it plugged in? Let's see. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Okay. It was actually plugged in, but I had to hit the little breaker on the outlet. So we're just going to start mixing this together first. Make sure you can see in the bowl. Just want to combine this stuff together. You can also just take a little whisk if your KitchenAid doesn't go all the way to the bottom. And you can just give it a little mix with just the flour, sugar, salt, like so. I have a farm fresh egg, so I do not want to crack it into the bowl. If you've watched any of my recipes, I say that all the time. Crack your egg into a separate bowl, even if you buy them or if they are farm fresh, because if you get a bad egg, you have to start all over, unfortunately. So the egg is good. I just see a little tiny shell, and that's another big reason why I always say crack it into a bowl. So let me get this out. Okay. Had a little tiny shell in there. Okay, we are going to put our yeast mixture, all of it. Get it all out the best you can. All that yummy goodness out. Okay. Then we're going to put our egg right in. And then we're going to put our melted butter, which was 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Just going right in. Okay. And let's see. And then our vanilla. So we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Right in. There we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start mixing this until it starts to come together and form dough. I always start mine off on 2. I don't go any higher than that. Don't get mine all loud. We're basically just kneading this until it starts to form a dough ball and it comes away from the bowl and your bowl looks completely clean. let it do its thing. And you will see when it comes together into a ball, then we will turn the mixer up and we will knead it for 4 to 5 minutes until the dough is nice and smooth. But until then, we just got to be patient and wait for the dough to come together. You can see it's all starting to come away from the sides of the bowl. And when there's nothing left and it's nice and clean, we will be ready. Look at that. The bowl is just about clean. So now what we're going to do, it's all coming together. Now we're going to turn it up and we're going to let this knead for 4 or 5 minutes until it's nice and smooth. About 4 to 5 minutes, so you can set a timer for that. I will bring it back because it's even louder now. I will bring it back as soon as it's nice and smooth. I think that looks pretty good. And look, this dough is so forgiving. It comes right out. You can knead it up a little bit just to bring it together. But the mixer did all the work for me. I didn't really have to do anything. And there she is. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of oil in a bowl, and you can make this into a better bowl if you like, which is what I'm doing. And you want to take a bowl, you want to put a little bit of olive oil in it, which is what we're going to do. Let me show you. I already fixed my bowl. I might have to back you up a tiny bit. There is my dough ball. Now I put oil inside of the bowl. I just take a paper towel, I rub it around the whole bowl so that the dough does not stick. What we're going to do next is we're going to take our glorious dough, we're going to put it in, give it a swirl, flip it over, make sure that it has oil around it because we don't want it to form a crust on the top. So let me push this back so you guys can see. There's our dough ball, and we are going to cover it with some saran wrap. Okay, let me grab the saran wrap. I have these covers that fit right over the bowls, but I don't have them up here with me right now, so we will use saran wrap. And then you want to put this in the warmest spot of your house. I'm going to put it in the microwave, not on, obviously, and I'm going to let it sit there till it doubles in size. Saran wrap never clings. I don't know why that is. They call it cling wrap. I'm going to go over it with another piece. If your oven's on, you could always put it on top of your stove. You could put it in your oven, not on, or with the light on. Good to go. Just make sure that it's covered like this. We're going to put this in the microwave till it doubles in size. And as soon as it doubles in size, I will bring these all back. Okay, the dough is just about risen. So we are going to work on the filling. So 8 ounces of cream cheese at room temperature. We're going to put it in this bowl. Let me get a knife so I can open this. Okay, I didn't need a knife after all. We're just going to open the cream cheese. We're going to put it inside the bowl. This is 1 8-ounce stick cream cheese in the bowl. And then grab a paper towel. We are going to use 1/4 cup of sugar. So let me grab the sugar. Figure we might as well start working on the filling. 1/4 cup of sugar. We need a teaspoon of vanilla. Just like so. And then you're going to need a teaspoon of lemon zest. So let me get the lemon. I don't have my zester here though, so I'll do my best to grate the lemon. Okay. And this was a teaspoon, so I'm going to do a little bit more. Trying to get it all out of there. My zester, I think, is still in storage. So, there's the lemon zest. And then for the raspberries, we're going to set that off to the side. Let's get another bowl. And then for the raspberries, sorry about all the racket. Pyrex always makes a lot of racket. Okay. Work on the raspberries. Because the dough, like I said, is just about there. Now 2 cups of raspberries. I like to leave a couple left over on the raspberries so that you can take a raspberry and put it 1 or 2 all over the top. Don't want to do too many raspberries because then, well, they'll squeeze out. There we go. Okay, the raspberries, and you need 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. I'll tell you the reason behind needing the cornstarch, and that's to help with the liquid that's going to come out of the berries. do another pinch since my spoon is wet. Okay. 2 tablespoons of sugar into the raspberries. Seems like a lot of sugar, but remember, we didn't put a lot of sugar in the dough. So we're just evening it out throughout. A little bit in the dough, and then the raspberries. You basically want to gently, and I mean gently, toss your raspberries inside the cornstarch and the sugar, like so. Leave it off to the side. Let's go back to this. If the cream cheese is soft enough, you can actually do it with like a little spatula or whisk. So let's try and see if mine is soft enough. You work it a few minutes. It will loosen up a little bit more. Probably want to get this to where it's nice and creamy. So we'll just do it by hand. You want it to be spreadable. So even though I had it sitting out all that time, like I said, it's a little cold in here today. So you basically just want to work the cream cheese, get everything all mixed in. Let me put a towel under there so it stops banging and making all this noise. In case you didn't know that trick, just put a towel underneath the bowl. And then we're going to continue to incorporate the cream cheese, the lemon, sugar, all the vanilla, because we want this to be spreadable. Okay, we're going to put that, leave that as is. And now we're going to get working on the dough. So we're going to need a little flour. So let me go grab a little flour for the table. Okay, just a little flour in case I need it for the table. And then let's get the dough out because it's doubled in size, and I will show you this fabulous dough. So let me pick you up, bring you now over to here. I want to find the best spot for you because I need room to be able to roll it out. So let me adjust my camera just a little bit. Let's try this. Okay, if I have to relover you, I will. I am going to work in this area right here, which was completely cleaned off earlier. Let me take this off and get ready to roll my sleeves up. So, actually, I think I might take this bigger spot right here. So let me move you to right about there, and I'll make sure you can see. Okay, so there's our dough. Look at the beauty. It completely doubled. So we are good to go to get ready to start getting our dough. I will show you the length I'm going to use this pan, this cookie sheet, with some parchment paper. Let me see, can you see? Has sides. I'm going to use this cookie sheet. You can use it as a guide, like that. So you can see that to get your dough. We're going to use parchment paper on the top of this. Once we roll them out and we cut them, they will have to sit on this and rise a little bit longer. So we're almost done. Now it's time to get the dough. So I'm going to put down just a little bit of flour. Now remember, I don't have a rolling pin here, so we are going to dump the dough out. Look at how clean that came out of the bowl. Perfect. And then what we're going to do now is we are just going to start shaping it. And if I'm shaking you in the camera, I'm so sorry. It's the table. Not too much I could do about that. But it's pretty pliable. You want to just start getting it into a square. You need more flour. You just sprinkle down a little bit more. And you can pretty much just use your fingers. If the camera's shaking, I'm sorry about this part. I can't help it. It's my only surface that I have to be able to show you how to do the dough. So we're gonna just keep stretching it. Like I said, this dough is pretty forgiving. You can go like that and stretch it some more. You don't want it to be thick in certain areas and too thin in others. You take your hand, spread it out until you get the desired length. And I think we might be just about there. Looks about right to me. Just adjust it for a minute. If you have a rolling pin, you can roll this a little bit too. Doesn't have to be like perfectly squared, but you get the gist. Okay. And that's how you can do it without a rolling pin. And that looks pretty good to me. Now here we go. And even if you take your cookie sheet, you're good. Okay. So now what we want to do is really stir up this cream cheese mixture again. It might not seem like a lot on the dough, but you want every bit of this goodness all over that dough. So there's that. And we'll need a handful. You want to just sprinkle a handful of sugar down, just like so. on the dough. And then we're going to go in with our mixture. Hopefully you're able to see this. I'm like a one-man show over here. I mean, don't waste any because it's so good. You have to use your fingers. Use your fingers. As long as your hands are clean, you are good to go. Now you could use an offset spatula. You can use a butter knife. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Use a butter knife. Basically, well, actually, you can just use this. You want to just smear it all the way around, all the way up, close to the edge. You could use the butter knife after you get it all spread it out. And like I said, it may not look like enough, but it will be. This is why you need a decent spot to be able to roll them out, big enough spot. And then just spread it as evenly as possible. I take mine pretty close to the edge. And you can see how that one pack of cream cheese ended up being enough. Okay. Like I said, these are great for the holidays. Really, really good. If you want to be very particular, you can use the butter knife. Okay. My hands. Now we're going to move on to the raspberries. See the raspberries. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the raspberries. We're going to start to put the raspberries around. With the raspberries, you do want to leave a little bit of a border on the edge. And then just sprinkle them. Just don't take it too far to the edge because they will squirt all out. And just fill it in with your raspberries. You can see I'm leaving myself a border. Okay, good enough, I think. And now let me rinse my hands one more time. We're going to need a sharp knife. Use a serrated knife as well. Whatever works for you. Let me grab a piece of parchment paper. I'll let you stare at that for 1 second. parchment paper. Doesn't matter if it's not exactly even, it's fine. And now, I'm going to sit down and we're going to start rolling. You can go from this edge and start rolling it in, which I think is what I'm going to do. You just want to start as if you're making a cinnamon bun. And keep it as tight as possible. And just keep rolling. Roll it just like you would if you're doing the cinnamon roll. And then I'm going to pull this over, roll up. I'm going to pinch it. You'll see. And then I roll over it like so. Piece of sugar. You want it to be as even as possible. Let me get my pan, because there it is. Look at that. What we're going to do is we're going to cut them, and then we're going to do face side up. Cut side down, actually. So I'm going to take the ends, and I'm just going to push it in and pinch it closed the best I can. Same with the other side. Push it in and pinch it closed. Now you can go half in the middle. You can go half again. And then you can go half again, so forth and so on. I'm doing a little bit bigger, and then we're just going to put them down. Well, that one was like way too big, but we're going to set them on the parchment paper, like so. I'm going to fix this end one, because you know the very end is usually just dough anyway. There we go. Leave a little space in between, and if a piece falls out of raspberry, don't worry, just put it back on. Like so. I had a few a little bit bigger. That's okay, because you can just spread these out like so to give you enough room. These are just the ends, so I'm going to throw them out. And now what we're going to do, and I'll show you the tray. second. And now what we're going to do is we are going to cover these with a lint-free towel. And we're going to let them stay in a warm area. Preheat your oven to 350. And you can even put them right on top of the stove. And there they are, the beauties. So we tend to use the oven for a lot of pots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them out. And I'm going to put them on the bench. So that I can preheat the oven. We keep our cast iron and casserole pans in there. So. Sorry about all the clinking and clanking. This is Jimmy's mom and dad's old stove. It's like 40 years old. So just got to get mine out of storage and bring it over here and put it in. There we go. Set this down. And now I'm going to preheat the oven. Bake 350. You can either use a piece of non-stick wax paper, put it right over them. We're going to sit these babies on the stove as soon as I make some room. Move the cast iron pan. You don't want it touching it too tight, you just want it loose. We're going to sit that right there. Just lightly on top. You're going to let that rise. I'll bring you over. You're going to let that rise for 30 to 35 minutes. You can tell as soon as they've risen, they'll be puffier. And as soon as these rise, like I said, I have my oven preheated to 350. We're going to let these rise for about 20 to 30 minutes, and I'll bring it back as soon as they